Warning: Geeking Toyetic is a show aimed at the adult collector, and as such features adult language and humor that is not appropriate for younger audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
On this episode of Geeking Toyetic, we get into some pre-order news for upcoming Mego, Star Wars, and Transformer toys, and I think it's about time we do some toy unboxing. Coming up next. Welcome everyone to another episode of Geeking Toyetic. I of course am your host and resident geek, Larry Roberts. On this show, I focus on toy collecting for the adult collector, discussing new and collectible toys that are just coming out, and as well as talking about old classic toys that we grew up loving and just remain in our minds and our hearts after all these years. In this episode, we're going to talk about a bunch of the new upcoming toy releases that have been announced since Toy Fair 2020 in New York. A bunch of them are already available for pre-sale, so we're going to cover those. And I thought it was about time we do some toy unboxing because I've had a whole bunch of new toys come in the last few weeks and I've been piling them all up, and I'm ready to unbox them here and now on camera for you. But first and foremost, let's get into that news. Okay, so just jumping right into things here, you might recall if you watched my last episode that I covered a bunch of the news that came out of the 2020 New York Toy Fair regarding upcoming Star Wars toys coming from Kenner Hasbro. And I particularly discussed a lot of the cool exclusives that have been coming out and are going to be coming out, many of which have been really hot on the aftermarket. Well, just this past week, there was an announcement that there would be at least 2 new additions to the Star Wars Black Series Carbonized Edition figures. Now, these Carbonized figures have been a big hit with a lot of collectors, both loose collectors and box collectors. Pre-orders are already being taken on sites like Entertainment Earth and other specialty sites for the newly announced Carbonized Boba Fett figure, as well as a Carbonized Stormtrooper figure. Both of these are of the 6-inch line, just like this Mandalorian here, and are considered part of the Black Series. Looking at the photos that have been supplied by Kenner Hasbro, you can see that the figures have an excellent vac metallized, carbonized look to not only the figure itself, but even their accessories, which has been pretty consistent throughout the line. And as with all the other carbonized figures, they come in special carbonized shiny boxes, each one color corresponding to each figure. Now honestly, like I mentioned in the last episode, these figures have been selling like gangbusters, man. I mean, they're very hot, they're very hard to get, they don't last very long, even the pre-sales don't last very long. So honestly, if you're into these figures, if you're into those characters, even if you haven't been collecting the carbonized figures per se, but maybe you're a Boba Fett collector, or you're a Stormtrooper collector, or you just like the bad guys or whatever, honestly, I think it's a good idea to put your pre-order in now, because I guarantee these things are going to sell out. And don't be surprised if even the pre-order sells out soon, because pre-orders are not infinite, folks. They put out a limited number of them, and they go pretty quick. And while I haven't seen an official statement about it yet, it's been rumored, there's been some leaks among certain people in the hobby that there is a 3rd carbonized figure that is going to be coming out towards the end of the year, and that figure is supposed to be Darth Vader. Now, details about that figure are very sketchy at best, and I cannot confirm for sure if that's coming out at the end of this year or what the story is with that. But as far as the Boba Fett and the Stormtrooper go, those are supposed to start shipping this summer. Also just announced this past week for pre-order, you can finally get another chance at getting the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. Now, I discussed this in the last episode as well. This was initially a Best Buy exclusive that came out before the holidays back in 2019, and this thing went really fast. It just was gone before you even knew it. But thankfully, they just announced that these will now be available for pre-order again through sites like Entertainment Earth and other specialty sites like that. Now, I believe this thing retails for somewhere around $30, give or take, depending on where you're at. That is certainly a lot better than what people have been paying for this thing lately on the aftermarket, which is usually like 3 times that much, or roundabout. So hopefully you didn't go out and spend a shitload of money on this thing prematurely, because like I warned you in the last episode, if you're patient and you wait and you keep searching, usually you get another crack at these things. Pre-orders for things like this, especially when it's the Mandalorian character, go really fast. So don't hesitate, just get your order in now so you're not crying about it later. Moving on from Star Wars, there were also a ton of cool new additions to the Transformers line. Most of these were announced at Toy Fair, with new additions to the War for Cybertron line and even the Bumblebee line. But one of the toys that really caught my eye was the recently announced Transformers Takara Tomy Generation Selects TTGS09 Super Megatron figure. Now, I'm a big fan of the Generation Selects line of Transformers. I think they're super cool. I've got a bunch of them, and I haven't really talked about them on the channel yet. I will have those featured in an upcoming episode. But this Super Megatron figure is imported directly from Japan in its original Japanese packaging, complete with Japanese language instructions and featuring authentic Takara Tomy design and deco. The TTGS09 Super Megatron converts from a robot to interstellar starship mode. And the figure is based on the character from Japanese manga, the Battle Stars. The figure is available for order on the Hasbro Pulse website, and it's retailing for about $59.99. But this pre-order is only available until April 28th, 2020. And after that, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be available at all anymore, if the price goes up. I have no idea. But if you want this figure, you have a very short window of time to get your hands on it. So get the pre-order in now. Now, it says the figure is not scheduled to ship until around September of 2020, so you're going to have a little bit of a wait before this shows up. But even so, again, don't wait on this one. These figures have been really hot, because going by how good this Super Megatron looks in the pictures that I've seen, and just generally how good the Generation Selects figures have looked in the past, I think it's going to be well worth the wait. And lastly, I'd like to mention that Mego Corporation also made a good showing at the New York Toy Fair this year, showing off some of their cool new figures that they're going to have coming out later in 2020. Now, I discussed Mego Corporation and their new figures coming out way back at the beginning of Geeking Toyetic in one of the early episodes. And you might remember that I talked about back then that when it first came out, there were some quality control issues and it was a little bit of a shaky start. But before long, they started coming out with some really nice figures. Now the stuff they've had coming out has been excellent, particularly in my opinion with regard to their monster horror line of figures and their Star Trek line. Well, I'm happy to say that they've announced for 2020 new additions to both of those lines, with figures designed after Linda Blair in The Exorcist, which honestly, I don't know if I'm even going to buy it, because I have a problem with The Exorcist, because even though it's an amazing movie, that movie scares the living piss out of me, and I just can't stand looking at that face of hers. But it's an amazing movie, and I'm sure it's going to be an amazing figure, so I'm probably going to buy it anyway, because I'm a fucking masochist. Also, there's going to be new figures based on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Harold the Scarecrow from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the creature from the classic monster movie The Fly, and other miscellaneous characters coming out from episodes of Twilight Zone, even Lord of the Rings, and other stuff. Now, they've already put out a bunch of great characters for Star Trek in regards to the original series from 1966 to 69. I've got a bunch of those and I love them. But all of us here at Geeking Poetic Podcast are huge fans of Star Trek The Next Generation, and I'm really happy to report that we're going to get some Next Gen figures in the 8-inch Mego format, namely Lieutenant Commander Data and none other than Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Now, we've been doing a lot of discussion of Picard lately because of the new Star Trek Picard series on CBS All Access. And so we're way into Picard, so the idea of getting a new figure of him is awesome. Now, all of the aforementioned Mego figures are available for pre-order at Entertainment Earth and other specialty sites for around $18.99 US. There's so many great new toys coming out. There's even more toy news out there. They're announcing new stuff every week, it seems like. It's hard to keep up with, but I'm gonna keep trying to report it to you as I get it. I'm gonna have more news for you next time, but you know what? Enough of the news. Man, let's open some toys. So for the past few weeks, I've been getting in boxes and boxes of toys. Some of them are toys that I had put pre-orders in for months ago, and some stuff that I just came across good deals recently, and I thought, why not? Some of them are brand new stuff that was just released, and a few things are things that have been around for a little while, but I'm just now getting to put them into my collection, or maybe I found a really good deal, and I thought maybe you guys would like to check it out as I open them for the first time, so let's go. I can't find my knife anywhere. I don't know what I did, so I'm just gonna use these scissors because they're pretty sharp, and I'll be careful. The first box I have here comes from a company called Pop-O-Loco. It's a really cool online toy site. They've got toys and other kinds of collectibles, pretty cool stuff. So let's see what I got from here. So yeah, this came from a company called Pop-O-Loco. This is the card that they included in their box. I am not affiliated with them or sponsored by them in any way, but I just frequent this site to check out their deals, and I found a really good deal this time. So yeah, there you go, Pop-O-Loco. And here's what we got. Got a Mandalorian figure. Now this is the number 94, and yeah, I just really wanted another one of these. Now, I had mentioned on the last episode how hard it is to get this figure. This was released back in the fourth quarter of 2019, and they sold out really, really fast. And a lot of people are still looking for this guy. And I told you if you were diligent, you could find it. Well, guess what? I found another one at this Pop-O-Loco site. They put it up for order a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to get this thing for around regular retail price. I think with shipping and everything, it was like under $25 roundabouts there. Now, whether or not they still have these, I am not sure. I'm going to guess they probably sold out, or they have to be quick to sell out soon. So if you haven't gotten an opportunity to get one of these, check with Pop-O-Loco and see if they still have them, because I really wanted to get another one. I have one already, but I like to have doubles of some of these, especially because I like to open them sometimes. So for something like this, it might be nice to have a box Mandalorian and then maybe a loose Mandalorian to display and everything. So yeah, this box is in great shape. If you look at it, you can see he's in really nice shape. Very, very happy with this. Pop-O-Loco, under 25 bucks, can't beat it. Well packaged and everything, came quick and it came safe, so good grab, yeah. So this next box comes from GameStop. Now GameStop carries a lot of Star Wars stuff, and they have some exclusive figures, so let's see what they got. All right, so here we go. See, yeah, see, GameStop right there. And I have a big green-blue pillow. That's what I ordered. It's not what I ordered. That's pretty cool, though. see. Now, this is not packed as safely as the Mandalorian figure that I just opened from Papa Loco. So, I hope this figure is in okay shape because, well, here is the packing list of things. We'll see. Hopefully I don't need that. And, all right. It doesn't look too bad. We ended up with Gaming Greats Jedi Knight Darth Revan. Now, as you can see, this is from the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes line. And it's a really attractive packaging there. Love it. It doesn't have a number like the regular series one. It just says Gaming Greats on the side there. Revan's whole story there. And as you can see, unlike the regular Darth Revan, he has this different color motif to his outfit, and it's more like obviously the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes version of him. I love it. Yeah, this figure came out a little while back. They announced it, and it was really hard to get. And I had no luck. Most of the GameStops around here, if they were even carrying it, they were getting like 1 or 2 of them in a store. And by the time I'd find out somebody got it in, of course, by the time I called or got there, they didn't have it anymore. Luckily, I, once again, through just diligent, constantly checking the website all the time, especially, here's a hint. I mentioned this in the last episode. Go on in the middle of the night. If you're able to. A lot of us are out of work or we're just on wacky hours because of the whole quarantine coronavirus thing that we're still in the middle of right now. And I've been up late at night, and I find that a lot of times the websites get updated with new in-stock items later in the day, later at night and stuff. And I think I went on at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I found this guy was available and in stock. And the last time I checked, earlier today, this was still in stock. And I know some of you out there are trying to find this for a good price because he's been going for a lot of money on the aftermarket. So go to GameStop.com and see if you could get your hands on this Revan because he's really cool. They also have pre-orders up for other new exclusive figures that are going to be coming out, more of the Gaming Great style ones and everything. I will talk about that more in another episode. Hopefully I'm going to get my hands on those pretty soon. But yeah, great figure, man. Very happy with this. They could have stood to package it a little bit better. There's a very empty box. I mean, they put this pillow and that helps it from, I guess, bouncing up and down, but not so much the side-to-side action. That's what she said. Luckily, I must have got lucky because the corners are all pretty nice and I'm pretty happy with this. So thank you, GameStop. Again, not sponsored by them, not affiliated with GameStop. I just like their stuff, so check it out. All right, and now we have good old Entertainment Earth. What do we got coming from Entertainment Earth? Let's check it out. All right, here we go. Let's see. I'm not sure. I don't remember what's in this box exactly. I think I know. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do remember what's in. This is a good one. Now, Entertainment Earth knows how to pack their boxes. See, they do a good job. Here we go. So, not a Star Wars item, as you can see. What we got is the Transformers Ectotron, the Ecto-1. This is, as you can see, a Transformers version of the Ghostbusters vehicle. Now this is really cool. I always wanted one of these, man. I love what they've been doing with these sort of reissue style ones, these G1 reissue style stuff. For those that don't know, I'm sure you probably do know, especially if you're into Transformers, they've been coming out with all these really cool reissues of like the G1 toys and everything, mostly from Walmart and stuff. Like, you know, we've got Hot Rod here. I've got a bunch of the other ones, but I'm saving those for another episode, probably the next episode. I want to start talking more about Transformers because I know some of you have been asking for it. and really excited about this new stuff that's been coming out, not to mention the aforementioned Generation Selects and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, check this figure out, man. It's my first time seeing it. Comes with the little Slimer figure right there and everything. As usual, it's got the little data card on the back and everything. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Box is in killer shape. Sorry, I keep blowing the dust off of it. In killer shape. I was very much looking forward to this. I pre-ordered this figure a while back when I found out that they were coming out with it, and I love it. All right, look what I got. It's another Entertainment Earth package. Gee, I wonder what it could be. I know what this one is. I'm very excited about this one. So, now this one had like a whole extra flap on the top and stuff. So this is super extra packed, which I'm happy about because I pre-ordered this item a while ago and I've been anxiously awaiting this one. I talked about this one on the show in the recent past. And what is it? Trusty packing list? Yes, it is the Imperial troop transport from The Mandalorian. Man, so if you go all the way back and watch one of my early episodes of Geeking Toyetic, one of my Geek Seek of the Weeks was me talking about the old Imperial troop transport, or more specifically, I was talking about the exclusive Imperial cruiser version that was like a JCPenney exclusive or something like that. Loved the troop transport as a kid. I mean, yeah, you know, especially at the time, it was really all about playability. This was before we started collecting these things, you know, and worrying about that kind of stuff. It was just about how much play can we get out of it. And the troop transport to me was a great playable toy. So I'm super excited that they brought it back. I'm excited that there's a new toy. Obviously, it's an updated version of it. And that it finally made its debut on screen officially in The Mandalorian. I was pretty jazzed about that. So, as you can see here, this is a great looking ship. Excellent art. I love the vintage collection that they've been doing from Kenner Hasbro. You know, they've tried to come up with all sorts of fancy new packaging for things over the years and varying levels of success and failure, but man, there's just nothing that beats the vintage style packaging. Maybe I'm saying that because I'm vintage myself, but I just think it's so attractive. It's so well done. It looks like a scene out of the freaking movie. Look at it. And that's what I want to see. That draws me towards a toy. That is excellent, man. That's childhood for me right there, man. Love it. And this is still available from Entertainment Earth, and it's available for order on other toy sites, you know, Big Bad Toy Store and stuff like that. You can find this in different places, but I got a really good deal on it from Entertainment Earth, and yeah, they packaged it really well. Very happy with you guys. Thank you for packing your stuff so well. You know, I have to pay for shipping. It may as well be worth it, right? So that was fun. All right, so for this Geek Seek of the Week, I'm going to keep it kind of short and simple because I don't want to run too long on time. But I thought it'd be cool to mention something that I recently found and got very excited about. Now, again, I usually try to do the Geek Seek of the Weeks about something that might be like really old or something that's like super hard to find, kind of flying under the radar. But this time, I'm talking about something that's new that I think has been flying under the radar a little bit, and it's been these Diamond Selects figures based on old properties, specifically like old Disney properties. And when I say Disney, I'm not talking about Mickey, and I'm not talking about, you know, Tinkerbell or some shit like that. I'm talking about the cool geeky stuff, things like Tron, which I love, and in this case, this week, I am talking about Black Hole. Now, just recently, I was at, of all places, a Walgreens store, and I happened to walk through the toy aisle, and I can't help myself. I have to check and see what they have, and usually it's not anything super exciting, but this time, I look down and what do I see? I see characters from the Black Hole. Now, this was a movie that came out around 1979, 1980 from Disney. And, you know, it was, of course, trying to jump on the whole hot sci-fi trend of the time, mainly due to Star Wars, but also other things like Battlestar Galactica and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You know, they'd been very successful, and Disney, of course, could not be left out. So they made this movie, The Black Hole. Now, The Black Hole, I'm not going to say it was a huge success. Some people loved it. Some people didn't know what to make of it. It wasn't the runaway success that Disney had hoped for. But at the time, Mego had made a bunch of Black Hole action figures that were really nicely designed, and a lot of collectors highly desire these figures. As such, some of the Black Hole figures from back then are pretty hard to get, and they're pretty expensive. And finding them in like good, loose, complete condition, much less finding them in the packages, is pretty tough, especially when it comes to the robots. So Diamond Select knew exactly what they were doing when they chose the two figures to put out in this format, which is none other than Maximilian and Vincent. Now, both these figures come in very attractive boxes. They have excellent artwork on the back of the box there. I love the fact that you can see through windows on all sides, so you can really see the character. I was not looking for these nor expecting these, and man, look how cool that is, man. Vincent. Now, these are put out by Diamond Select, but these are sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. Most of you probably know Gentle Giant because they do incredible statues and statuettes. They also do the jumbo figures for Star Wars and other lines like that, but we'll get into that. I'm going to be talking about those jumbo figures very soon. These are very affordable too, considering how detailed they are and how big they are and stuff. You cannot go wrong with these, and I think these are the kind of things that are going to fly under a lot of collectors' radar. When I walked into my store, I found one of each. And since I've gone back there a couple more times, they have not restocked these. I suggest you seek these out if you're a fan of sci-fi, if you're a fan of Black Hole especially. It's not like we get Black Hole collectibles every day. So yeah, this was a really cool little surprise, a new take on an old favorite classic, sort of, again, under the radar retro toy line. Check them out, look for them. Grab them while you can. Well, that pretty much does it for this episode of Geeking Toyetic. Man, thank you so much for all the support I've gotten from you guys lately. It's been excellent. I've loved hearing from you. I've had some really cool like little polls going on online asking you guys about some of your favorite toy memories and stuff, and I'm going to get into those in the next episode. The main reason why I do this show is because I love talking about toys. I love getting to show them off a little bit. I love hearing about what you guys like, what you don't like, suggestions. Man, throw it all my way. I will be back very soon. I'm going to have way more episodes coming out way more frequently. I've got more Transformers to talk about. Like I said in the last episode, I've got Masters of the Universe news I want to talk about. Man, Marvel stuff, Mego stuff, plenty more Star Wars stuff. There's so much more news coming out about new Star Wars toys almost every week. It's almost overwhelming. I am going to answer some of you guys' questions because I asked you to submit me questions, and I've had a few really good ones. And like I said, I'm going to talk about the things that you guys have been telling me about your childhood favorites. There's tons to get into, tons more content coming your way. Anyway, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, stay diligent, keep looking for toys, even if you can't get out the door and go check out the toy aisles and stuff like you used to. You could still look online. There's all sorts of good deals to be found online, like a bunch that I've mentioned to you in the last couple of episodes. I'm going to have a bunch more hints and little tips for you on where to check out for toys and what to look for. So keep checking back. Take it easy, guys. See you later.